with a cruel rich cowboy. She agreed to a marriage no one survived, but he gave her paradise, the planet Arcturus. 9 was not a place people chose. It was a place they ended up when everything else had gone wrong. Dust storms ruled the land. The sky was always a dull orange, like it had forgotten what blue looked like. The air smelled faintly of metal, and the wind howled like something alive. Most people who came here didn't stay long. They either left or disappeared. And above all of it stood one name everyone feared, Darius Vane. They called him the cruel rich cowboy. Not just because he was rich. Everyone knew that. He owned almost half the planet. Miles and miles of land, filled with strange alien cattle, advanced machines, and something no one fully understood. But what made people whisper, what made them afraid, was his wives. 6 marriages, 6 women, none of them alive. No bodies, no clear answers, just silence. And now, there was going to be a 7th. Ilera Voss stood in front of the contract terminal, her hands slightly shaking. The screen glowed softly in the dim office. Outside, the wind slammed against the metal walls like it wanted to break in. The city behind her was already falling apart. Supplies were low. Jobs were gone. People were leaving or starving. She had no family left. No money. No future. Just one option. The contract. A man behind the desk watched her quietly. He wore a clean suit, something rare on this planet. You understand the terms? He asked. Ilera nodded slowly. Yes. Once you sign, he continued, you belong to the Vane estate. You cannot leave. Ever. She swallowed. I know. There are no second chances. No cancellation. No escape. I said I know. The man paused, studying her face. Most people hesitated longer. Most people walked away. But not her. Then sign, he said. The screen changed. A simple line appeared. Marriage agreement. Darius Vane. Her reflection stared back at her from a glass. Tired eyes. Dust on her skin. A life already broken. She placed her hand on the scanner. For a moment, she almost pulled it away. Then she thought about the empty nights, the hunger, the fear, and she pressed down. The screen flashed. Contract accepted. It was done. The journey to the Vane estate took hours. Ilera sat alone in the transport shuttle, watching the dead land pass by. Endless fields of cracked earth, rusted machines half buried in sand. Occasional flashes of strange creatures running in the distance. The driver didn't speak. No one ever spoke about this state. As the shuttle moved further out, something strange began to happen. The land changed. The dust faded. The sky softened. Ilera leaned forward slightly, her eyes narrowing. Green. She saw green. Grass. Real grass. It spread across the land like a dream. Smooth, perfect, untouched. Trees appeared next, tall and strong, their leaves moving gently in a wind that felt calm. Impossible. This isn't right, she whispered. Arcturus. 9 wasn't supposed to look like this. The shuttle slowed as it approached a massive gate. It wasn't just metal. It shimmered like it was made of energy. Beyond it, she could see everything she had been promised. A paradise. Golden fields stretched to the horizon. Lakes reflected the sky like mirrors. Animals moved peacefully across the land. And in the center of it all stood a large ranch house. Simple, strong, watching everything. The gate opened without a sound. The shuttle entered. When Ilera stepped out, the first thing she noticed was the air. It was clean, fresh. She took a deep breath, almost in shock. This can't be real. But it was. She looked around slowly, trying to understand how something like this could exist on a planet like Arcturus 9. Then she felt it. A presence. Someone watching her. She turned and saw him. Darius Vane stood a few steps away. He wasn't what she expected. No armor. No heavy weapons. No sign of violence. He wore simple clothes. Dark shirt. Rough jacket. Boots covered in dust. Like a normal rancher. But there was nothing normal about him. His eyes were sharp. Cold. Not angry, just distant. Like he had seen too much and stopped caring. He studied her for a moment. Ilera forced herself not to step back. So, He said finally, his voice calm and deep. "You're the seventh." The way he said it made her chest tighten. "Yes," she replied. Silence stretched between them. No welcome, no kindness, just quiet. Then he turned slightly, looking out over the land. "Everything you see," he said, "is yours too now." Elara blinked. "That's it?" she asked. "No rules? No explanation?" "There are rules," he said. "You'll learn them." She frowned. "And the others?" she asked carefully. "Your wives." For a brief second, something changed in his eyes. Not sadness, not guilt, something deeper. "They didn't survive," he said simply. Elara felt a chill run through her, even in the warm air. "Because of you?" she asked. Darius looked at her again. Long quiet. Then he shook his head slightly. "No," he said. "Because of this place." That night, Elara couldn't sleep. The room she was given was perfect. Soft bed, clean walls, a large window that showed the endless fields outside. Too perfect. It didn't feel real. She sat by the window, staring into the distance. The sky above the ranch was beautiful. Clear, bright, full of stars. But something felt wrong. She couldn't explain it. Then she saw it. A flicker. Just for a second. The sky glitched, like a broken screen. Elara stood up quickly, her heart starting to race. "No, I didn't imagine that." She kept watching. Nothing. Just stars. Maybe she was tired. Maybe a loud, distant sound cut through the silence. A scream. Not human. Not anything she had ever heard before. It echoed across the land, low and sharp at the same time. Elara froze. What was that? She moved closer to the window. That's when she noticed something else. Small lights moving across the sky. Fast. Precise. At first, she thought they were stars. Then she realized they were machines. Drones. Dozens of them. Flying in perfect patterns. Watching. Not the land. Not the house. The sky. Elara's stomach tightened. Why are they watching the sky? The scream came again. Closer this time. Her breath caught in her throat. Something was out there. Something alive. Something wrong. The door behind her opened suddenly. She turned quickly. Darius stood there, already dressed, already alert, like he had been expecting this. "You heard it," he said. It wasn't a question. Elara nodded slowly. "What is that thing?" she asked. Darius walked to the window, his eyes scanning the sky. For a moment, he didn't answer. Then he spoke. "You'll find out soon enough." Elara stared at him. "That's not good enough," she said, her voice stronger now. "You brought me here. You made me sign that contract. I deserve to know what's happening." Darius looked at her again. This time, there was something else in his gaze. Not coldness, not distance. Something like warning. "You didn't sign that contract for answers," he said quietly. "You signed it to survive." The lights in the sky suddenly moved faster. The drones shifted formation. A low hum filled the air, like something powering up. Elara felt it in her chest. Something was coming. Darius stepped back from the window. "Get some rest while you still can," he said. Her eyes widened. "Rest? Are you serious? There's something out there." "Yes," he cut in. "There is." He paused at the door. Then, without looking back, he said, "And if you want to live longer than the others," his voice dropped slightly, "you'll need to stop asking the wrong questions." The door closed, leaving Elara alone, with the sky, with the silence, and with the growing feeling that the paradise she had just entered was actually a cage, and something outside it was trying to get in. Elara did not sleep that night. She stayed near the window, watching the sky as if it might break again at any second. The stars looked calm, but she no longer trusted them. Every flicker, every small movement made her heart beat faster. The scream she had heard, it did not leave her mind. It echoed again and again inside her head. Morning came slowly. Soft light spread across the fields, turning the land golden. Birds, real birds, flew across the sky. The wind was gentle, peaceful, too peaceful. It felt like the planet was pretending nothing had happened. Elara stepped outside the house. The air was fresh again, like last night never existed. For a moment, she almost believed it. Almost. Then she noticed the ground. Small burn marks. Lines in the grass, like something heavy had been dragged across it. And near the fence, something worse. A deep claw mark. Long. Sharp. Not made by anything normal. Her stomach tightened. "This place is lying," she whispered. Darius was already awake. Ilera found him near a group of machines that looked like feeding stations for the alien cattle. He was checking something on a small device, his face calm, like nothing was wrong, like last night had not happened. "You saw it too," Ilera said as she walked toward him. Darius didn't look up. "Yes." "That scream." "Yes." "That thing." "Yes." She stopped in front of him, angry now. "Then stop acting like this is normal." Darius finally looked at her. "It is normal," he said. His calm voice only made her more frustrated. "How can that be normal?" she asked. "Something is out there. Something dangerous. And you're just feeding animals like it's another day." Darius turned off his device and faced her fully. "Because it is another day," he said. "And if we stop doing our work, we die faster." Ilera clenched her fists. "Then tell me what's happening." Darius studied her for a moment, long enough to make her uncomfortable. Then he sighed quietly. "You really want to know?" he asked. "Yes." He nodded slightly. "Fine. But after this, you stop asking questions and start learning." Ilera didn't respond, but her eyes stayed locked on him. Darius pointed toward the horizon. "Do you see that line?" he asked. Far away, the sky and land met in a thin, glowing edge. Ilera squinted. "Yes." "That's not natural," he said. "None of this is." She already knew that. "The sky here isn't real," he continued. "It's controlled. Everything you see, weather, air, light, it's all part of the system." "A system?" she repeated. "Yes." "For what?" Darius paused. Then he said something that made her chest feel cold. "To keep things out." Before Ilera could ask more, a loud alarm suddenly echoed across the ranch. Not soft, not distant. Loud, sharp, urgent. Darius's entire expression changed. "Inside," he said quickly. "What?" "Now." His tone was not calm anymore. It was serious, dangerous. Ilera didn't argue this time. She followed him as they rushed back toward the house. As they moved, the machines around the ranch came alive. Turrets rose from the ground. Energy shields flickered into place along the fences. The drone she saw last night filled the sky again, moving faster than before. Something was coming. Ilera could feel it. Inside the house, Darius grabbed something from a lock case. A weapon, not like anything she had seen before. It was sleek, dark, and glowing faintly with energy. He turned and handed it to her. Ilera froze. "I don't know how to use that," she said. "You'll learn fast," he replied. "I'm not a soldier." "You are now." The ground suddenly shook. Ilera stumbled slightly, grabbing the wall to stay steady. "What was that?" she whispered. Darius walked to the window, and for the first time, he looked worried. The sky tore open. There was no other way to describe it. One moment it was calm and blue. The next, it cracked. A glowing line split the air itself, stretching across the sky like a wound. Light poured out of it, bright, unnatural, almost painful to look at. Then something moved inside it. Ilera's breath caught. No, that's not real. The thing that came through was wrong. Its shape kept changing, like it couldn't decide what it wanted to be. Long limbs stretched out, then twisted back. Its body shimmered like liquid, but solid at the same time. It fell from the sky, crashing into the far side of the ranch. The ground shook again. Dust rose into the air. For a moment, everything was silent. Then, a scream, louder than before. Closer. Ilera felt in her bones. "That's what I heard last night," she whispered. Darius didn't answer. He was already moving. "Stay behind me," he said. Ilera gripped the weapon tightly, her hands shaking. "I don't think I can do this," she said. Darius glanced at her. "Yes, you can." "How do you know?" "Because you're still here." That answer didn't make her feel better. But there was no time to argue. They stepped outside. The peaceful ranch was gone. In its place was something else. War. The drones attacked first. They fired beams of light into the distance, striking something hidden in the dust. The turrets joined in, sending powerful blasts across the fields. And then Alara saw it. The creature. It moved fast. Too fast. 1 second it was far away. The next it was closer, its body shifting and twisting in ways that made her eyes hurt. It let out another scream. The sound made the air shake. "What is that thing?" Alara shouted. Darius raised his weapon. "Something that doesn't belong here." The creature charged. The ground broke under its movement. Darius fired. A bright beam shot from his weapon, hitting the creature directly. It screamed again, its body pulling back, but it didn't stop. It kept coming. "Shoot!" Darius yelled. Alara hesitated. Then she raised the weapon and pulled the trigger. The recoil pushed her arm back, but a beam shot forward, hitting the creature's side. It reacted instantly. Its head, or what looked like a head, turned toward her, and then it moved, straight at her. Alara froze. Her mind went blank. Too fast. Too close. She couldn't move. Darius stepped in front of her, firing again and again. The creature shifted direction, attacking him instead. It struck. Fast. Violent. Darius barely avoided it, rolling to the side and firing again. "Move!" he shouted. That broke Alara's fear. She moved. She ran to the side, raising her weapon again. Her hands were still shaking, but she forced herself to aim. The creature lunged at Darius again. Alara fired. This time, she hit something important. The creature screamed louder than before, its body flickering violently. The drones attacked together. Multiple beams struck the creature at once. For a moment, it seemed like too much. The creature slowed. Its movements became unstable. Then, with one final scream, it collapsed. Its body broke apart into glowing fragments that faded into the air. Silence returned. Alara stood there, breathing hard. Her hands were still shaking. Her heart was racing. "Is it dead?" she asked. Darius lowered his weapon. "Yes." "That was just one?" she asked. Darius looked at the sky. "Yes." Alara followed his gaze. The sky looked normal again. But now she knew better. "This place," she said slowly, "it's not a paradise." Darius shook his head. "No," he said, "it's a battlefield." Alara looked around at the land, the perfect fields, the calm air, the beautiful sky. All of it felt different now. Fake. Dangerous. "And the others?" she asked quietly. "The women before me, they face this too?" Darius didn't answer right away. Then he said, "They tried." Alara swallowed. "And failed." He nodded. Silence fell between them again. But this time it felt heavier. More real. Alara looked down at the weapon in her hands, then back at the sky. She understood now. Why the drones watched it. Why Darius didn't explain. Why no one survived. Because this place didn't protect people. It tested them. And if they failed, they died. Darius turned and walked back toward the house. Alara followed slowly. Her fear was still there. But something else had taken its place. Understanding. And a question she couldn't ignore anymore. How long could she survive in a paradise that hunted back? The ranch was quiet again. Too quiet. After the creature died, the machines slowly powered down. The drones returned to their silent patterns in the sky. The turrets sank back into ground like nothing had happened. But Alara knew better now. This place was never calm. It only waited. That night, Alara sat at the long wooden table inside the house. A plate of food was in front of her, untouched. She kept staring at her hands. They were still shaking. Not as much as before, but enough. Across from her, Darius ate in silence. Like always. Like killing that creature meant nothing. Alara finally spoke. "That thing, it wasn't an animal." Darius didn't look up. "No, it wasn't from this planet." "No." She took a breath. "Then where did it come from?" Darius stopped eating. For a moment, he didn't answer. Then he placed his fork down slowly. "Sit properly," he said. Alara frowned. "I am sitting." "Sit like you're ready to listen." Something in his voice made her straighten without thinking. Darius leaned back slightly. His eyes focused on her now. "What you saw today," he said, "wasn't an accident." Alara felt her chest tighten. "Then what was it?" Darius paused. Then he said, "A test." Alara stared at him. "A test?" she repeated. "That thing almost killed us." "Yes." "And you're calling it a test?" Darius nodded once. "Yes." Her anger rose again. "Are you insane?" she snapped. "People died here. Your wives died here. And you're acting like this is normal." Darius didn't react to her anger. He just watched her. "You're still here," he said. "That doesn't mean anything." "It means everything." Alara opened her mouth to argue again, then stopped. Something about his tone had changed. Not cold, not distant. Serious. Real. "What do you mean?" she asked, quieter now. Darius stood up. "Come with me." He led her out of the house, past the open fields, toward a part of the ranch she had not seen before. At first, it looked normal. Grass, trees, calm wind. But as they walked further, Alara noticed something strange. The ground changed. Metal lines appeared under the soil. Small lights blinked faintly beneath the surface. "This wasn't here before," she said. Darius kept walking. "It was always here," he replied. "You just weren't allowed to see it." That didn't make her feel better. They reached a large, flat area. At the center was a circular platform. Simple, but wrong. It hummed softly like something alive. Darius stepped onto it. Alara hesitated. "What is this place?" she asked. Darius looked back at her. The truth. The platform lit up. Soft blue light spread across its surface. A low sound filled the air, like a machine waking up. Then, suddenly, the ground around them shifted. Panels opened. Metal structures rose from below, forming walls around the platform. Screens appeared in the air, floating, glowing, filled with data Alara could not understand. Her eyes widened. This was under the ranch? Darius nodded. "Yes." "For how long?" "Since before I was born." Alara slowly stepped onto the platform. The moment her foot touched it, the light changed. It became brighter, stronger. The screens flickered. Darius noticed immediately. His eyes narrowed slightly. "Interesting," he muttered. "What?" Alara asked. He didn't answer. Instead, he walked to one of the floating screens and activated it. Images appeared. Planets, stars, then dark shapes, moving through space, destroying everything in their path. Alara's breath slowed. "What is that?" Darius's voice was calm. "Your answer. They are not from our universe," Darius said. Alara stared at the images. "They don't follow our rules. They don't think like us. They don't live like us." One of the shapes moved across a planet. The surface cracked. Cities disappeared. Everything gone. "They consume," Darius continued. "Worlds. Life. Energy. It doesn't matter." Alara felt cold. "And they're coming here? They already have." Her mind raced. "The creature from today." Darius nodded. "A scout." Alara stepped back slightly. "A scout?" she whispered. "That thing was just a scout?" "Yes." Her legs felt weak. "Then what comes next?" Darius looked at her. Something worse. Silence filled the space. Alara tried to understand, tried to make sense of it. "This planet, this ranch," she said slowly. "It's not just land, is it?" Darius shook his head. "No." "Then what is it?" He looked around at the hidden system, at the glowing screens, at the platform beneath their feet. "It's a defense system," he said. Alara blinked. "For humanity." Everything clicked at once. The fake sky, the drones, the weapons, the creatures. "This place is a trap," she said. Darius nodded. "Yes." "For them?" "Yes." Alara looked at him, her voice shaking slightly. "And you live here?" "Yes." "And you get married here?" "Yes." Her eyes widened. "Why?" Darius didn't answer right away. He looked at her carefully, like he was deciding something. Then he spoke. "Because I can't do it alone." Alara frowned. "Do what?" Darius stepped closer to the center of the platform. This system, he said, is not fully automatic. Elara looked around. But it looks advanced. It is, he said, but it needs a human mind to guide it. Her confusion grew. Then why not use soldiers? Scientists? Darius shook his head. They tried, and they failed. Elara's chest tightened again. And the wives? Darius looked directly at her. They were the next attempt. Elara felt like the ground had disappeared under her. You're saying, she started, her voice weak, you didn't marry them for love? No. For help? Yes. Her stomach turned. And when they couldn't help, they died. The words were simple, heavy, final. Elara looked away, her mind spinning. That's horrible. Darius didn't argue. Yes, he said. Silence again. Long, deep. Elara closed her eyes for a moment, trying to breathe, trying to think. Then she opened them again. And me? She asked. Darius didn't look away. You're different. She almost laughed. That's what everyone says before something bad happens. Darius shook his head. No, this is different. He gestured toward the platform. Stepped forward. Elara hesitated. Why? Because I need to see something. She didn't trust him. Not fully. But she also knew one thing. If what he said was true, there was no running. So she stepped forward. The moment she reached the center of the platform, everything changed. The light turned bright white. The screens exploded with movement. Data flowed faster. The entire system reacted. Elara gasped. What's happening? Darius's eyes widened. For the first time, he looked shocked. No one has ever triggered this before, he whispered. The platform pulsed. A voice echoed softly around them. Not human. Not cold. Something in between. Compatibility detected. Elara froze. What was that? Darius didn't answer. He was staring at the system. At her, like he was seeing something impossible. The voice continued. Synchronization potential. High. Elara's heart pounded. I don't understand. You don't have to, Darius said quickly. His voice was different now. Not cold. Not distant. Hopeful. For the first time. You just have to survive long enough to use it. The light slowly faded. The system calmed down. The screens returned to normal. Elara stepped back, breathing hard. What just happened? She asked. Darius walked closer to her. You just did something no one else could. Her mind struggled to catch up, which is... Darius looked at her seriously. You connected to the system. Elara shook her head. That doesn't make sense. I didn't do anything. You did, he said. You responded to it. She looked at the platform again. And the others, they couldn't. A cold feeling ran through her. So that's why they died. Darius didn't deny it. Yes. Elara took a step back. So what now? She asked. Darius didn't answer immediately. Instead, he looked at one of the screens. It had changed. A warning symbol blinked in red. Elara noticed. What is that? Darius's expression hardened. The next problem. He tapped the screen. The image zoomed in. The sky above the ranch appeared. But it wasn't stable. Small cracks had already started forming. More than before. Many more. Elara felt fear rise again. No! Darius's voice was calm again. But this time, it carried weight. That scout we killed, he said, it sent a signal. Elara's stomach dropped. A signal? Yes. To what? Darius looked at her and said the one thing she didn't want to hear. To the rest of them. The screen changed again. Now it showed space. Dark. Silent. Then movement. Dozens of shapes. No. Hundreds. Coming closer. Elara's voice barely came out. That's not possible. Darius didn't look away. It is... Her heart pounded. That's an army. Yes. And we can't stop that, she said. Darius turned to her. This time his eyes were not cold. They were focused. Determined. We couldn't before, he said. Then he looked at her. But now... He paused. Maybe we can... Elara looked at the screen again. At the approaching darkness. At the impossible numbers. Fear filled her chest. But something else was there too. Something new. Something stronger. She looked at her hands, then at the platform, then at Darius. "Then teach me," she said quietly. Darius nodded once. "Good," he replied, "because next time—" He looked at the sky above, where small cracks were already forming again. "We won't be fighting just one." The training began the next morning. There was no soft start, no easy lesson, no time for fear. Darius woke Alara before sunrise and took her straight to the lower system under the ranch. The hidden platform was already active. Blue lights moved across the floor, like living water. Screens floated in the air, full of maps, warnings, and lines of data she still could not fully understand. But now the system reacted to her. When she stepped near it, the lights became brighter. When she touched the screen, it opened faster. When she stood at the center of the platform, the voice returned. "Primary synchronization candidate detected." His eyes snapped to hers. "No, we are not ending it like that. You don't understand what that thing can do." "Then make me understand while we fight," she said. Darius stared at her, angry and shocked at once. Then the command creature struck the inner shield. Everything went white for half a second. The room shook so hard that Alara fell to one knee. When the lights returned, half the western field was burning. Containment failure in progress. Darius moved toward the self-destruct control. Alara grabbed his arm. "No." He pulled free. "There's no other choice." "Yes, there is." He turned sharply. "What?" Alara looked at the glowing platform in the center of the room, at the system, at the voice that had accepted her from the start. A terrible idea was forming in her mind. "I go deeper," she said. Darius understood instantly. His expression changed from anger to disbelief. "No, you said the system needs a human mind. Not like this. You said I connect better than anyone before. Alara, then let me finish it." He stepped closer. "You don't know what full integration does." "No," she said honestly, "but I know what happens if I do nothing." Outside, another shield line broke. The command creature moved forward. The ranch groaned under the attack. Darius looked at the battle map, then at her. For the first time since she met him, he looked afraid for her. "You could lose yourself," he said quietly. Alara held his gaze. "Then help me come back." There was no time for more. The command creature struck again. Darius closed his eyes for one brief second. Then he nodded. The platform opened. Light rose around Alara in a circle of white and blue. The whole room hummed like a giant heart. Darius moved to the outer console, his hands flying over controls. "If this goes wrong," he said, "I pull you out." "If this goes wrong," Alara replied, stepping into the center, "you won't have time." The system voice spoke above them. "Full integration is irreversible beyond critical threshold." Alara swallowed hard. Then she said, "Begin." The world disappeared. At first there was only light, then sound, then too much of everything at once. Alara felt the ranch, not just the room, all of it, the fields, the shield towers, the drones, the broken outer fence, the burning north line, every power route under the soil, every camera, every breach in the sky. She felt the creatures too, cold, hungry, wrong, and at the center of all of it, the command form, a hole in reality wearing the shape of a living thing. Pain hit her next, not body pain, mind pain. The system was huge, ancient, sharp. It moved faster than human thought. But Alara did not pull away. She leaned in. She gave it what it lacked. Instinct, choice, human refusal. The system changed around her, not taking her over, learning her. The voice returned, no longer distant. It was beside her now. Human adaptive layer accepted. Outside, the ranch transformed. Walls rose from the earth. Fields folded open into weapon grids. The lakes flashed into mirrored shield arrays. The barn roof split and became launch towers. Paradise was gone. In its place stood something greater. A living fortress. Darius looked up as every system on the board turned gold. "Alara," he whispered. Through the system, she heard him and answered, "I'm here." Then she struck. Every drone moved as one. Every turret fired in perfect sequence. Energy flowed through the ranch like lightning through veins. The command creature pushed forward once and met the full force of a human-guided world. Its shield of darkness cracked. Its crown of fire shattered. It screamed, and this time the sound carried fear. Elara pressed harder. She saw the pattern in its movement, the weakness in the breach behind it, the way its body depended on the open rift to stay stable. That was the key, not just the creature. The door. She redirected everything. Darius, she said to the system, marked the center breach. He did it at once. The targeting lock turned bright. Elara gathered every remaining weapon into one line. The ranch itself seemed to hold its breath. Then she fired. A single beam, larger than any before, tore across the field and hit the command creature through the center. It broke apart in a storm of black light and white flame. The beam kept going, straight into the breach. The sky folded inward. The tear scream closed. Then the others began to collapse too, one by one, until silence returned. When Darius reached the platform, Elara was still standing. Barely. The light around her faded slowly. The room stopped shaking. The warnings disappeared. He caught her before she fell. For one terrible second, he thought she was gone. Then her eyes opened, tired, but alive. "You came back," he said. Her voice was weak, but real. "I said help me." Something close to a laugh broke from him, rough and unbelieving. Above them, the ranch stabilized. The false sky returned, but it was no longer exactly the same. It looked clearer now, wider, stronger. Outside, the field was scarred but standing. The defenses remained active, waiting, listening. And when Elara looked up, lights across the ranch answered her, not as a prisoner, not as a wife trapped by a contract, but as something new, a partner, a guardian. The voice of the system spoke one final time. Dual command recognized. Darius looked at her. Elara looked back at him. "This isn't just your paradise anymore," she said softly. He understood. No more secrets. No more ghosts ruling the house alone. For the first time, the ranch belonged to more than one survivor. Elara rested her head back and looked toward the sky. "It's ours now," she said. Far above them, where the breaches had once opened, the heavens remained closed. And somewhere beyond the stars, the things that hunted worlds had learned a new truth. Humans did not only survive. When pushed to the edge, they changed everything around them, and even paradise.